Picture this wild scenario. The U.S. is in open conflict with Iran. Oil tankers are literally burning in the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf, and gas prices globally are violently fluctuating as Tehran seeks to strangle the world's gas supplies. And there's a Republican president in the White House that is very bent on making sure the U.S. is still respected as a global superpower. Of course, I'm talking about the 1987-88 tanker war. Let's get into it. First, a very quick backstory. In 1980, Saddam's forces invaded a very tumultuous post-revolution Iran in what was to become the Iran-Iraq War. Now, the first few weeks went relatively swimmingly for Saddam's forces. They made somewhat of a lightning advance, but similar to what happened to the Russians when they invaded Ukraine much more recently, the conflict bogged down into a trench warfare style stalemate. This went on for a few years, both sides trying to break that very vicious stalemate as hundreds of thousands were dying on both sides. So Iran did what Iran does. They sought to strangle the global oil supplies, much of which was coming out of Iraq. To do so, they first struck Iraqi oil facilities, and then using a paramilitary force of about 30,000 soldiers, they were able to actually seize a strategic island and port facility at the south of Iraq, south of Basra. Now, this understandably impacted global oil markets, but Saddam, being the wily guy that he was, just managed to ship Iraqi oil out of Kuwaiti and other neighboring friendly ports. So the flow of oil continued. Everything was good for a little while until the Iranians figured out they could just start attacking these other oil tankers. This, of course, sent global oil markets into disarray and led to Kuwait formally requesting support from notably the U.S. and the Soviet Union to guide some of these civilian oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz into the Persian Gulf. The U.S., of course, responded, and Operation in Earnest Will started in 1987. It was largely a peacekeeping mission. Everything was good as U.S. naval vessels escorted these civilian oil tankers and other maritime traffic through the strait until, well, this large influx of military and civilian traffic in a very tense environment through a very narrow waterway, well, let's just say things were inevitably going to happen, and they did. Unfortunately, Shorts limits the time that I can explain this, so please subscribe or check out the second part of this video down below.